Are these newfangled things any good?
Attentat, 1942, is a moving, partly live-action educational game about families' history during World War II. It's a bit full-on, so worth keeping that in mind. Let's dive in. Set in the Czech Republic, the story follows your journey through the capital city and various memories to uncover what happened to your granddad during World War II. I was really taken aback by how sophisticated the plot and game elements were. The core mechanics are live-action interviews, where you talk to people and have to be quite careful about what you say in order to get it all correct. Once you get everything right, you've got all the information you need to proceed. There's also an animated section where you recreate the past and try and puzzle your way to safety. For the art style, live action footage does quite nicely. As someone who works in film, it was quite nice and actually a little bit funny to see something so familiar a style. The game starts off a little slow, but I think that's mainly because it's quite jarring to start off a game like this. I think, at least for me, my concept of gaming is very much about fun and forgetting, and so something like this really challenges you to engage. There were a few times where I missed elements, so I had to replay the interviews to get all the correct information, and to be honest, it started really setting in what they were saying. After a while, the game got quite fiendish until I really figured out how to play the game, and this added a lot of depth. I really want to praise the game for its inclusion of an encyclopedia that fills out as you play the game. It was actually really nice and easy to navigate. You unlock more information as you play the game and do the interviews, and everything is referenced, or pick up leaflets and learn a bit more about those. What's really nice is none of the game is really timed unless you're in a specific quick time event, so you can take as long as you want to just read. Almost everything within the game has a little bit of backstory and lore behind it, though it's not really lore, it's history, so I felt that was really important and needed. Again, it added weight to what the game was about. I think this was a nice touch, but it does make the game, for me, feel more like teaching material. As you complete the puzzle parts, you get coins, and these coins are used to replay the interviews to make sure you get everything right. The game runs really smooth and is a really fascinating interaction. I haven't quite played anything like it, and not being the biggest history buff, it was really different for me. So I enjoyed it. Now for some of the things I'm not so happy about. I found there was quite a few load times, and I guess that's just what happens when you're using live action footage. It's almost as if the whole game's a cutscene. I was also a little unsure to call this game fun at first, because it's a bit more of an experience. I do believe that this wouldn't have worked as a film, and that they've chosen the right platform to put it on, but there are also elements which just felt a little bit detached for me. I think for many as well, this game will be intriguing enough, but personally I wasn't quite invested to really be pulled along. I found that because I was missing that slight initial drive, there were elements where I just was a little unsure on what to do. I would need a little bit more motivation personally, or some slightly higher stakes. I also found because I had that lack of motivation, I would just miss up on subtleties, and so some of the game sections were a bit confusing and vague for myself. There are also some sections of the game that are a little bit upsetting. I think this is to be expected from the genre, to be honest, and what the devs are also going for. I found the music was a little cliche at times, but overall, the game felt really very real, and I think that's partly due to those live action sections and a lot of close-ups on eyes and real people's faces. Overall, I can't quite say I enjoyed the game, as I don't think you're supposed to, but I was engaged. I was really engaged, however, and found it quite an interesting mix of point-and-click, historical drama and puzzler. I would be cautious in buying this game, as it's definitely not an action drama, and also some elements are quite upsetting. I think though, if you are interested in history, or a little bit more about the country itself, or a little bit more about World War II, or even just a little bit more about this particular story, definitely buy it. The price is worth it, I feel. What a really interesting title, and I'm so glad I gave it a go.